Hello everybody, welcome to a new video. In this one we will be continuing, this will be part 3 of a 3-part series, so it's the last video. You can follow this along even without following the previous 2 parts, but the thing you see here, the single bed small room and the king size deluxe room, these are custom posts that we have set up in the previous 2 videos where we made also this template. So the single bed small room has this template attached to it where you can select dates. It dynamically calculates the price, and then you have some things you can put in and click on submit, and then in the back end we will get a booking confirmation. Yeah. What we will be doing in this video is creating this page. So we have a filter on top, filter dates, where we have a single bed small room and a king size deluxe room. Of course, if you have more, it's also possible, where they can select some dates and like this. Click on search, and then the available rooms, you see the 2 are still here because they are both still available for those dates. And we get a little pop-up here with the active dates, and if they click on it, it removes the filter. You will see, for example, I think it was in June that the king size deluxe room was completely booked. I'm not the specific date, I don't remember, but I'm just going to select the whole month of June. So click on search, and now you see single bed small room remains, but the king size deluxe room is gone. So it dynamically searches the available rooms, and whenever it overlaps with a booked date, then the room that is booked is automatically removed from the list. So this is what we will be creating today. We will have to use JetSmartfilters for this one on top, and then we can create a listing grid with the Jet Engine plugin to create this. Alright, so let's get right into it. Okay, so first things first, we're going to create the listing item itself. So this is going to be under Jet Engine listings. You see there are no templates found because I don't have it created at the moment. So we're going to click on add a new one. It's going to be a posts kind of listing, and we're going to have to select our, I called it rooms, but depending on which site you have, this might be a different naming, of course. Yeah, for me, it's rooms. We're going to set the rooms listing. Can choose whatever you want, and I'm going to use the blocks Gutenberg. I don't have anything else installed. If you have Elementor, this probably will show up here as well. I'm going to create this listing item, and now we're going to create it. I'm going to use the start with the row layout of Kadence with a 2-column layout, but I'm going to use inside, I'm going to use only the Jet Engine blocks, because the Kadence blocks don't work well with the JetSmartfilters, I have noticed. I will show you in a minute. So what I'm going to use here is the dynamic image. If it doesn't show up here, you can just search for it, and it will. These are all the fields that are getting extra with the Jet Engine plugin. So if you open up all, you see here Jet Engine, and then you see all the available blocks that they offer you. So we're going to use the image. We're going to say the room's image. So this is a custom post type that I've created with a meta field attached to it. Again, all has been set up in the previous 2 videos, so check it out if you're not sure what I'm doing now. We're going to set it to medium large. We don't need a full-sized image for this. It's going to be less hard to load. Lazy load, you can enable this, and a linked image is also can be enabled. That means that if they click on it, they will open up the single post template, for example. But we can also set this here with the listing item settings on this, not the block settings, but the listing item. If we go to here, we have the same settings we already have, but here you have an extra one, make listing item clickable. And if we click on yes, we're going to just select the permalink. You can set here if it has to be opened in a new window, yes or no. But I'm just going to click on update, and this means that the whole listing item itself will be clickable. So then we don't have to set this to a linked image, because this is already going to be clickable by default now. Okay, so this is for now, this is going to be fine. I'm just going to click on update, and then on the right side we're going to add some dynamic fields. So the first thing I want is a post data field, and this is going to be the title. And I've also installed the Jet styling plugin. This is a free plugin you can use. I don't use it all too often, but I'm going to use it in this video. But you can use, of course, custom code as well to style the Jet Engine fields. If you don't want to use code, then this is probably going to be a better option. gonna make this 2 M's, and we're going to set it to a bold single bed small room like this. This is going to be like it should. Okay, and we're going to leave, for now we're going to leave everything like it is. We're just going to set it like this, and then we're going to go underneath, insert after. We're going to again add a dynamic field. Now it's going to be the metadata, and it's going to be the bathrooms. So there is one bathroom inside of this small room, but we're going to filter the output a little bit, customize the output, I mean. We're going to type bathrooms and then like this, and you see this you have to keep here. This is the imported meta field, but the text before will be imported. So we're going to do it like this. And then we're going to add a new one, insert after, same thing, or we can maybe duplicate. This is easier, like this. We just have to now change this to the beds. We're going to go to here and change this to beds as well, like this. Then we're going to duplicate again. We can also do the amount of square feet. So now we can add something like this after it, and then like this, for example. You can choose, of course. So these are now inside, and then the last one we want is, let's duplicate again, is the metadata again and the extra amenities. This is a list of things, so it will not be working like this. We have to select a filter. We're going to remove the field output, but we're going to filter it now, because otherwise you get a error. Let's go to checkbox field values like this, and now we have just a list with all the extra stuff that the room comes with, and just click on update. So now we have already made the basic listing, like I've made it in the intro, but we're going to have to check now how it looks if we create a page. So we go to pages, we add a new one, my room listing page. You can call this page whatever you want, and we're going to search for the listing block, listing grid block, and we're going to have to select the rooms listing what we just created. So you see it imports it. We're going to set this to 1 column for the layout that I've created, but again, it's all optional. You can do whatever you want. And we're going to set this to 1 as well, and then click on publish. You see now it doesn't look like I've created it, but you will see it will be better if I open this up the page. You see it's already looking a bit like the thing that I created. So we have our 2 rooms. Again, if you have more rooms, they will just come underneath here. And you see if I hover over the image and if I hover over the text, everywhere where I put my mouse, you see it is the clickable and goes to the template. So this means it works. We have set it up right, so wherever they click, it will open up the booking page for the room. We might want to put some margin underneath this one, so then we go to the rooms listing again, select the top, we go to the styling, and we're going to go to the bottom where we have margin, unlink it. We select the third one, this is for the bottom, and we're going to say 30 pixels. And then we can refresh and see how it looks. We have a bit more spacing. And then this one we can select, and we're going to make it bold maybe as well. But you see, this is the thing with the Jet Styling plugin. Now it is going across all, because they are all the same. They are dynamic fields, and they are all dynamic fields for metadata. You see it does it with all the fields at the same time. So this is something you might want to, this is because why I like custom code a little bit more. If you only want one of those to be styled, then it's a little bit hard to do with the Jet Styling plugin, because it enables it for all of them. So you might want to check something else. So we're going to put this to 17 pixels and maybe just go to 300. And then this was just, the bolding was just to show you that it enabled it for all fields at the same time. Not for this one, because this is not this block is just a post title object, and these are all metadata fields. So this is why they are separate in styling. So you see, this is looking like this now. And we might want to put some spacing again. So remember, if we select the margin here, where is it? Over here, unlink it to go to the bottom, and we say 15 pixels, for example, it will do this for all fields again at the same time. So it will be doing this for all 4 fields. And then click on refresh, and now we have a bit more spacing in between. Okay, so this is looking a little bit like I've showed you in the intro. I have not really looked at which specific settings that I used, so probably the typography or the font size is probably a little bit different, but still looks fine enough for me. We might want to add a bit more spacing in between those. Then we can select the row layout, and we can say, we open up the row layout settings, go to advanced, we can go to the margin bottom here, and we can use the values like this, or you can put in custom values as well. We can just use the extra large one, update, click on refresh, and now you see the spacing is a bit bigger in between. Okay, so this is already looking fine, I think. If you want to, you can, of course, we have added the listing here. If you want to have a little bit more control over the layout, we can also insert a row layout again here. We are on the page now, and we're going to put the listing grid inside of the row layout. For example, let's make this first one column, select our listing grid and put it inside, and now we can set here content max width. For example, I only want it to be 800 pixels wide at the most, and we're going to refresh, and now you see it's a little bit smaller. It takes in the 800 pixels that I've just set up. If I do inspect and I go to my screen and I make it bigger, you see, so this is a small screen, and if I go further and further, you see it doesn't increase beyond 800 pixels. So something you might want to do, you can choose, of course. And then in the rooms listing, the other thing I don't like here is the amount of spacing between. So we're going to go to layout, and we're going to add a large column gutter. Update, go to my page, refresh, and we have a bit more space in between. All right, so this is already looking fine. Now, the next thing we have to do, we go outside of the listing. We're going to go to my smart filters. We're going to create a new one. It's going to be a date range that we have to check here. We're going to say the booking dates filter, for example. We're going to select the data source. It's going to be metadata. The date format, you can change this to another format if you're from another country which uses the different format. You can select different placeholders here. You can just leave the default ones or put in the default ones like this. And then here we are going to click on this little icon on the right, and we're going to use the JetBooking check-in, check-out. So this is the one that will work by clicking on it. If you don't click on it, it's not going to work. So you have to click on this icon and then the check-in, check-out. But then you have to have followed along with the previous videos where you have set up the JetBooking plugin, because otherwise it will not recognize this field, of course. Okay, click on update. You can set a filter label, so that can be, for example, search, and then here picked dates, for example, just putting some stuff in. We're going to have to look how it looks. Now we're going to go to my page again, so the editing of the page, and we're going to add a, let's go to insert before, and we're going to add the JetSmartfilter, the filter date range filter. This is the one I needed. Then we're gonna have to select, okay, I'm gonna have to refresh the page. You see it's not showing up. This is because the page was already open when I updated or created this. So if I refresh and now select the filter, you see now it's in here. So if you have the same problem, it's probably because it's not refreshed yet. Booking dates filter, select provider. We're going to use the listing grid as the thing that should be filtered, and now you see it's getting there. We're going to use AX, that's fine. Apply filter or search is going to be more suitable, I think, for example. And then we just have to make it the same width, for example, as the row layout, so 800 pixels. We can go to the styling plugin again. So you have a bit of options here. We're going to set them all in one line. This is already looking better. And we're going to set this to 85%, like this. And then we want some spacing in between. So you can set font typography settings here if you want to. Going to go to margin. We're going to set 10 pixels, for example. And you see it's increasing the indentation a little bit. I'm going to click on update, and now we're going to refresh the page, see how it looks at the moment. This is already looks like it works, but it's still too wide. So the other thing we can do is again make a new row layout, and then one column, and put the date range inside of the row layout, and then go to the settings of the row layout and do the same, set a 800 pixel max width, just as we did with the other row layout. And if we refresh now, it will be the same width as our search form itself. Then we can go and see if this does anything, search, and you see it looks like it's loading. The only thing you will notice now, if I want to reselect my dates, you see it's all grayed out because of the future dates that's still set. If I make this a bit later, you see this becomes available again. So this is not a nice way to work, because they should then have they have to manually click here to make this date go further, or they have to select and click on away, and then it's also again working. So that's why we have to put something underneath that like enables them to easily remove the two dates with one click, so they can pick new dates again. But if I select something, I think it was in June, this king size deluxe room was booked completely. So select the whole month, click on search, and you see it's going away. So it works perfectly fine. And you can see this if I go to the backend here and I go to my bookings plugin. You see king size deluxe room. I have 12 units of this. You can set this up in settings. So this means this room that you see here, the single bed small room, and the, let me remove this again and go just to somewhere in May. So it's back here. So you see it's coming back here. And this one, for example, if you have a hotel with 2 types of rooms, but this room has 12 units of it. And I've just to show, I have on the date of the June 5th until June the 8th, the king size deluxe room, all 12 units from 1 till 12 are for this date booked. So if I select these specific dates, or if these dates are overlapping inside of my search form, this will remove the king size deluxe room from this list. So now you see again, I can't go to the next month because of this. So first we're going to fix that. So we go to the page again. We're going to go to the row layout where I've created my date range, and we're going to insert after. And now we can click on this little plus icon, browse all, and we're going to go down. So we have the jet engine blocks on top, the cadence blocks underneath, just the default WordPress blocks, and then here on bottom, JetSmartfilters. And the thing we're going to do here is going to create an extra active tags block. And remove filters is also something we could use, so you can choose. Let's first do the active filters, I mean. We're going to have to select a provider, so it's going to be the listing grid again. Going to be Ajax again. And then we're going to remove this label. Click on updates. Refresh the page. And I will see if I do this to this, click on search, you see the picked dates, the 5th until the 4th until the 14th. And if I click on it, it can be removed. So this is the same as I had in the intro. The text you see here, picked dates, this is set up inside of the JetSmartfilters plugin. So if I go back to my filter here, picked dates, if I remove this, because there are 2, I don't know if you saw it, there are 2 colons, so this is not looking nice. So let's try again. Now we have 1. Okay, so this is working fine. The other thing you might want to do, or you could have done, again, just going to show you, but you can choose browse all, go to the bottom. We can also do here a remove filters. So we can again select our listing grid, click on update, and then there will be a remove filters button. So if we have filters enabled, then we have a big button, remove, and then we can change the text, of course, remove dates, and we can also style this button, of course, by going to here, make it a bit smaller, for example, and make it another color. and the text should be dark and the background color should be like this. For example, just to show you, this is also an option. I would choose one of the two, so like this and like this, search, or the button or this. You can do both, of course, but I would pick one of both, but you can select whatever you want. And if I click on remove, it works just as fine as the other option. So now we have a small listing created. It works. If I go to my dates that are booked, the 5th of June until the 8th of June, you will see that the other room will disappear because it has been booked. And then we have a single bed small room that's still available. And if they click on it, we get on this page. They can here again select some dates. So you see it's already filled in. So that's also a nice feature. And you see that this is also stylable, the colors of these things. And then you see here the total price is getting calculated, but they can of course here change their amount of stay, and then you see the price is getting updated real time. For the other room, if I go back here to my previous page, I open up this king size deluxe room and I check the, you see sold out, sold out, sold out. So the dates that are completely booked are displayed like this inside of this widget. So this is also something we have set up in the previous video, so you might want to check it out if you like how this looks. And for now, just play around with it, have a look and try to recreate it. And if there are any problems, just let me know. Thanks for watching. See you in the next one.